Hi, and welcome back to our podcast, Abilene People, where we always talk to Abilene's most interesting people here on bigcountryhomepage.com. And we've certainly got a qualifier for that, Abilene's interesting people. I tell you what, if this guest today can't tell good stories, there ain't no guest who can. Ladies and gentlemen, Damon Albus, 5D custom hats and leather. Did I get that wrong? Is it custom leather and custom hats and leather?
And leather.
Yeah. How are you, sir?
Well, if I was any better, it'd be two men. I don't think the world could take
No,
that.
I don't think so either. Is it true that you were once a famous singer?
Absolutely. Well, not real famous yet. I'm still waiting.
You're waiting for your break.
I'm still waiting for my break.
I do think you could be a stand-up comic. I really do. I think that's what you do.
I'm a singer. I'm much better suited for singing.
You stand up and make hats. You could stand up
A lot
and
of
make
folks
people
can't
laugh.
tell when I stand up is the problem, though, because I'm so short. But I'm a much better singer.
Okay,
I'm just
today.
waiting on that voice. You know, I've got everything to be a great singer, but a good voice.
Well, you know, it's just that's the one thing you need. That's it. All right, so this is the third Monday in a row where we've had an Albus in that chair, so it's the triple trifecta.
Kinda.
No, man, today's the culmination. We've had your son Dash, who's a baseball player.
Yes, sir.
And the Kansas City organization. He's out there in Charleston, South Carolina.
He's home now.
He's home now.
So,
in fact, who knows where he'll go, really?
Exactly. He goes back to spring training. I guess the end of February, he'll go back to spring training, and then he'll go through that month of the gauntlet, and then he'll find out where he's going from there.
And it wouldn't be the end of the world if he goes back, but he could go like to Davenport or somewhere like that up in the organization.
Exactly. It wouldn't be the end of the world by no means, but kind of all the little feelers and everything we're getting that things are looking up for that boy.
Good. Well,
it ain't due to work.
You know,
it ain't due to not work, should I say.
That guy has worked hard.
That boy, and he is.
I follow him now on Instagram, and I watch his workout videos. And I messaged him, and I said, "There is nothing in that video that I can do except wear shoes. That's it. He's got shoes on in the video. I can do that. I can do that.
Wear shoes either; they're too flat. But I get tired. I get winded just watching him do it.
It's unbelievable.
And I'm like, oh my gosh.
So did he get that athletic prowess from you?
It's in his genes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I mean, look at me. I'm a specimen.
Well, indeed you are. You know, I'm going to tell you what, it's a good thing God didn't give you a singing voice, or who knows what would happen.
That's for sure.
And then your mom was on last week, and she's a two-term city councilwoman for the city of Abilene. She's the one that come up with Myrtle's Come and Get Your Bed Ready, that huge campaign that made worldwide attention and brought such notoriety to Abilene and beautified Abilene with all the crepe myrtles. Sure. Donna Albus. And now you're here, and you are the owner of 5D. Tell us what the 5Ds are. They all? Okay. Is that from the y'all's names?
It all starts with my immediate family. Years ago, when growing up, Father Dwight, Mother Donna, Darren, Dennis, and Damon. I was the last one. Thank goodness. Okay, so everyone in the family started with a D. Well, henceforth, later in life, I married a Donna. So I get asked all the time, hey, is Donna your mother? And I'm like, oh, no, Donna's my wife. I get some awfully funny looks.
Yeah.
Because they're like, the city council. And I'm like, oh, that one's mom.
Yeah.
But my wife, Donna. So I married a beautiful lady by the name of Donna. And then we have a Delaney, Dally, and Dash.
So there's still 5Ds.
There's still 5Ds.
That's fantastic. In your shop, you do leather work and you make hats, custom hats.
We do custom leather work of anything, and I say it's everything short of a saddle. Okay?
So you may not even remember this, but one time in one of my former lives, I had it was actually a phone case. It was leather, and it busted, and I think it was out of stock, or I couldn't get a new one. And I just popped in your shop one day, and I said, hey, man, and you sewed that thing up, fixed it better than you, and wouldn't even let me pay you. I'm wondering if that same deal
is that I'm here. Yeah. I'm here to collect.
Why did I bring it up?
I mean,
so
if you don't mind.
Does that same approach work for hats? Somebody come in, they want a hat, and you make them up a hat, and they don't even charge them, or is that not? Because that can't be a good business model. You do charge in your shop for hats and stuff, right?
I'm not a very good businessman.
Hey, but you make some good hats. They're beautiful.
I'm not a very good businessman in that I do a lot of stuff.
You really
Little
do.
tweaks.
You really do.
Oh, this takes just a minute, this, that, and other. And
You should have charged me $30, and you said, no.
How I play it out in my mind, how I justify it, is I want to make friends. I want to make customers. You're going to come back at some point in time, and you're going to want something that's bigger, better, that I could really break it off into. I mean, that I can really charge you for later. Yeah, I need to charge for that
You're
little
just a good
stuff,
guy.
but
You're a good guy. You got to shop. Hey, do you consider yourself an artist or a maker?
I'm a maker. Okay? And I've been asked this before. Oh, you artist, this, that, and other. To me, an artist is a guy with a paintbrush and it does beautiful, fantastic, and wonderful things. And I just make stuff. Yeah, I guess artist in that same deal too. But I don't want to label myself an artist. Can label myself a maker.
And you do make beautiful product. And what's interesting to me is you also have stories about the hats, or the story of a hat. For example, I've heard you in another conversation say that a hat tells a story before you ever hear a word from the person. You know something about them by the hat they're wearing. What do you mean by that?
Creases are very geographical. Okay? I can pretty well tell you what part of the country, as far as Texas goes, maybe what county you're from, just by kind of the crease. If you come in and that hat is spotless and crisp and clean and a real light color that's super easy to get dirty, that's your dress hat. Or maybe you have that kind of job where you just need to look real pretty. But if you come in and that hat is mangled up, beat up, grease stains, spots from where they handle it, that tells a story too. That means you wear it every day, you wear it all day, you work in it, and you're that type of person. And not that one's better than the other, but it's just a way to qualify.
Don't hats, if I got it wrong, that originally when people were wearing hats, they were all shaped, kind of like the Haas Cartwright hat that was just domed up top, and then they started creasing them?
Okay, yeah, exactly, okay. Hats came out what we call open and flat. No crease in the top and a flat brim. Took it, you put it on, you wore it. Whatever wreck you got into, whatever tree you hit, whatever rainstorm you got caught in, if it blew off and fell in the mud, and when you picked it up and put it on, you got kind of one side bent up. Well, that was just the crease it took. There was not a specific crease, a specific meaning in the way you formed the hat.
Well, when did you
start these days there are?
Yeah, I was going to say, because makers started putting, creases
Movies.
in a hat. Oh.
Movies.
Okay.
Silent movies.
Okay.
Who's Tom Mix? Who's Tom Mix? Oh, well, we got to give him a look. They put the crease in it, come up on the sides. Oh, that's a mixed crease. So the movies is what started putting creases in hats.
And now we don't know any difference.
Yeah, now we don't know difference.
Every hat's got to be shaped, I guess, pretty much everybody.
And depending on how important you are, you get a crease named after you.
Really?
You get a George Strait. I want a George Strait. Every time they come in, I just want the George Strait crease. I said, I can do that. I promise, but I will not guarantee it improves your voice. But I can put that crease in it.
Okay.
So the Gus crease, Augustus McRae, Lonesome Dove.
Lonesome Dove.
So then it come up with, because before it was like a Montana Peak, or like I say, they all have geographical names. A Canadian bull rider, a regular bull rider, a wide brick. They all got different names, and they'll be the same crease in different areas, but go by different names.
So, Damon, let me ask you this: what is driving hat styles today? And I would assume there's something, either the popularity of rodeoing and just general cowboy popularity, or country western music, or TV or movies. What's driving it?
Okay, what's driving the hat industry or the hat style?
Well, take your stab at either.
Okay, the hat industry, we got a perfect storm. Okay, it's really, really cool to be a cowboy. lots of ladies are wearing hats. Ladies were wearing a fashion hat, more of a flatter brim, shorter crown, turned down in the front a little bit. Now ladies want a hat that looks just like husbands, looks just like grandpas, looks just like boyfriends. They want a good-looking Western type
And
hat.
you're making those.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
people coming in and ordering those.
Absolutely, every day. So, cool to be a cowboy, women wearing hats, and Yellowstone. Taylor Sheridan, I told him straight to his face, thank you. Because what he's done for the Western industry is just incredible.
And there's got
So
that,
all that, you got the perfect storm built up there. So now it's really cool to be a cowboy, and we'll ride it. And we had the same thing back in the Urban Cowboy. You know, back when John Travolta put on a hat and we had the Urban Cowboy movie, you know, your jeans went from $8 to $16. Your pearl snap shirts went sky because everyone wanted to be Urban Cowboy.
So do you most of your business, is it over the internet or telephone or repeat customers or walk-ins?
Right here. I've got a website. I don't particularly like it as far as keeping up with it and stuff, because that's just...
You strike me as the kind of person that wants to know somebody, and that's pretty hard to do digitally.
Absolutely, without a doubt. So yes, I've got one, and I figure it is kind of as my leader. I don't have no prices, no nothing like that on it, because there's so many different variables and everything that we do that could dictate all this stuff. I got my phone number, great big. Give me a call. And if you're anywhere close, I'm going to ask that you come in, and we're going to visit. And I get people come in all the time and say, hey, I'd like to order a hat. I'm like, all right, cool. All right, fantastic. Where do you think you might wear this hat? How often do you think you might wear this hat? You a color kind of guy? You know, do you want to wear this for fashion or function? I'm going to talk to you, and I'm going to get to know you a little bit, because then I can use my experience to kind of lead you down that right alley. And if I get that guy to come in and say, hey, I want a hat. I've never had one. I say, I got a lot of hat virgins here in the last several years. I get a lot of virgins. This is my first one. And I'm always going to lead them toward that lesser expensive kind of hat, because, yeah, you think it might be really cool, but are you going to wear it? Are you going to? And my thought process is, if I put them into still a good hat, but a lesser expensive, and you wear it, you truly wear it, then by the time it is you come around that you want another one, now we'll look at a little bit better one and maybe a different color. I always look at it as if I was writing a check out of my checkbook, okay? And I try to, you know, unlike our government, I'm going to treat it like it's my money, okay? Treat your money like it's yours, and I'm going to try to help you out and get you the best bang for the buck.
Somebody comes in and wants to get a custom hat, they better be prepared, I would assume, to pay a little bit of money, because that's not like going just to, you know, what I used to call Gibson's, the discount center with the golden touch, and walking back and buying a hat.
Felt hats are an investment. Straw hats are a purchase.
Nice.
Straw hats, that straw hat is still lesser expensive enough to where most people, if you wear hats, you get one season out of that hat. These days, now that they're getting a little bit more pricey, you're going to get 2 seasons out of that hat, but then it's toast. It's done. It stinks to high heaven. Got a big old sweat stain. Your wife is embarrassed to be seen with you in Walmart with it. The whole work. So that straw hat is a purchase. A felt hat, if you take care of it, will last years, decades. Okay? So, yes, they're a little bit pricier. There's a lot more work. There's a lot more expense that goes into a felt hat, but it lasts so much longer.
So, Damon, if somebody comes into your shop and they're prepared to pay for a hat, but they don't want to wait as long as it's going to take, you know, because I would assume it's a little bit of time investment too. Have you got a hat you can shape to their head and they can walk out?
The wall. Okay. We've got some on the wall, but that's very hit and miss. We're a custom shop, and I don't want to make a hat for the wall. I want to make a hat for Danny, okay? And I'm going to get the size of your head, the shape of your head, and I want to build it for you. I don't necessarily want to play potluck and build one and hang it up on the wall. That's what everybody else does. They make it, they stick it in a box, and you say, I wear a 7 1/4. I want a black hat. Boom. There you go. Thank you. Bye.
Well, I thought about you when I was out at the state fair because I walked by a vendor and, oh my God, man, he had 200 or 300 hats in that deal. He pre-made and all. And I thought, I don't think Damon Albus would do quite the same approach.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how he does that.
I'm not really into the big mass production on a guess. And quite frankly, the raw material is a huge investment. So am I guessing that somebody's going to want a pecan color 7 3/8 with a 4 1/4 brim? Because that's what you've got, all these different variables that you go by: height of crown, size of brim, how they want it trimmed out, the size, the color. And so that's just absolute guess by making it up and sticking it on the wall.
Where'd you learn to do it? If I got it right, that you went for a period of time, learned from a guy, and then bought his equipment. Is that how it happened?
So I worked for the great state of Texas. I was a parole officer. And no matter what you do for the state, you can only do it for so long, and you just want to run headfirst into a brick wall. Okay?
Gotcha.
And I hit that point, and I was looking around. I've been doing leatherwork since I was in college. And I always thought, man, a hat and leather shop. We had 2 hat shops in Abilene my whole life growing up, and then we had none. And so I thought, man, that would be a pretty cool little combination. That'd be good. So I started calling around, and every time we'd go somewhere, I'd stop into the hat shop and just look around and, see what's over there and what's over there. Well, I had a buddy that was up in the Lubbock area, and I said, hey, you got a Lubbock phone book? I said, there's a hat shop there. I said, let me have that phone number. The guy's name was Dean Leonard. So I called him. Grumpy old codge.
And you didn't know him?
No, I just called him out of the blue. I said, hey, I'm in Abilene, and I'm thinking about maybe at some point in time opening a hat shop here. Boy, he talked ugly to me. Why would I tell you anything? You'll just take my customers. I've got customers from sea to shining sea and north and south, and all I'm going to do is, let you take customers from me. And I was like, well, I just kind of thought we were far enough away. But anyway, so then he made the fatal mistake.
By the way, what a great way to look at things, isn't it? I mean, come on. But go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted.
There's so few of us out there. We need to share what we got, knowledge and what have you.
What's that old saying? In a high tide, all the boats rise. Right?
Sure.
We ought to be able to look out for one another. But anyway, so you established this relationship.
So he made that fatal conversation. Well, why don't you buy me out, and I'll tell you anything you need to know. Boom. I said, are you serious? And then his whole attitude changed. Well, young man, yes, sir. I was okay. So that next morning at 9 o'clock, I was standing in his doorway. And I looked around and I said, hey, if this is something that I will enjoy, it's something that I can do, and I can provide for my family, we may have us a deal here. So I went and stayed with that buddy of mine up in that area and kind of did an apprenticeship with him. Bought him out. Stayed there for a while longer. Actually, kind of hired him to work for me to finish the apprenticeship. And then one day, I said, hey, I'm going home. My whole philosophy on work is I want to work where I want to live. I don't want to live where I have to work. And I wanted to live in Abilene. This is home. So I picked up all my toys and came home.
When you moved you moved all the equipment down here too, right?
And the neat thing about that is he had bought out J. Lee, which was the hat shop here in Abilene. So all this equipment started here in Abilene. He bought J. Lee out and went to Lubbock, set up shop. And then I went to Lubbock and bought him out and brought all that equipment right back home.
Do you still have a lot of that? Because I know at one point you had a fire, and then you moved to your current location. I would assume you lost some of it.
We lost it all.
Oh, wow. Didn't know
when
that.
we had that fire.
I did not know that, and I feel like that was a loaded question because there has to be some emotion there.
Yeah. Yes, there is a lot of emotion, but it's good stuff. So many good, wonderful God things happened from that fire. We lost the entire business.
Is it true that I'm sorry, I'm just so eager to get the stories. Is it true that the night of the fire, somebody walked up to you and said, "Hey, man"?
No, that's not true at all.
Okay.
It was a morning when we had the fire, and absolutely Darren Black was fighting the fire. Fire hose in hand, up on the ladder, the whole deal. He gets relieved. Darren walks straight up to me. He gets right in my eye, and he says, "Damon, you got nothing to worry about. I've got a building right over here on Oak Street. It's got a small retail in the front. It's got work area in the back and all. It's yours as long as you need it. You don't owe me a dime, but you got to get back in business."
My God, Damon, that
And I
had
was
to
like,
turn you upside down.
Well, at this time, I still got flames boiling 30 foot out of the roof of my business at that time. So I'm like, not in my right mind. I'm thinking, what the heck is going on? And then I'm thinking, there's something not right. These people, there is not people like this out there. This ain't right. Well, I'm here to tell you, Mr. Black is that people.
That's
He
fantastic.
is so fantastic. He is an awesome guy. So fast forward a couple days. I said, "Hey, sweetheart, we got nothing to lose. We've got nothing. We've already lost it all." So I called Darren and I said, "Hey, were you serious?" And he said, "Well, heck yeah, I was serious. I wouldn't offer it if I wasn't." I said, "Well, can we look at it to see?" And he said, "I'm headed that way right now. Meet me there." So we literally went over to the building, and Darren, I had to call him back and say, "Hey, slow down a little bit," because he was already designing, and I'm going to have a guy to do this for you and redo these counters here, and we need to do this, and I'm going to do this, and we'll do. And I said, "Darren, no, man, I feel like such an imposition on you already. You've already offered way more than I would ever ask for." I said, "No, so let us do what have you." And he said, "I know it could be temporary if you don't want it to be temporary. This building is for sale." And he literally walked out front, grabbed the for sale sign, came in, put it back behind the counter, and called the realtor when I was standing right there. And he said, "Hey, building over here on 517 Oak Street, it's off the market until I call you and tell you different." Wow. He wouldn't let me pay him rent.
Now, let me tell you, folks, that's Abilene. That is a quintessential Abilene story.
Absolutely.
Damon Albus, Darren Black, two human beings connecting, doing business with a handshake. Love it.
Didn't even have a handshake. He got a hug on the neck's what he got.
And you're in the same location right there near the courthouse.
So we stayed there for several months. 3-4 months, whatever, kind of got our bearings back.
And where did you get equipment back? Was that just sourcing however you could?
There's another God thing. One day I picked up and hit Facebook. Boom. Very first thing that popped out there, hat blocks.
What are the odds?
They hadn't made these things in years and years and years and years. I just lost 150 of them in the fire. Okay. Unusable, and it just popped up. I have no idea. This guy, he was out. As a matter of fact, he was out in the Lubbock area. Hat blocks for sale. He didn't have no need for them. I called him. Boom. I get another call from a guy. Said, "Hey, I got it. It's a sewing machine of some sort, and someone told me that it could have happened or could have been used in the hat business." I said, "Well, take a picture of it." So, this is that gum sweatband machine from up in Oklahoma. That it was sitting in Grandma's garage, but we just little bits and pieces. My brother called and he said, "Hey, that shop up in Salt Lake City, he's got a bunch of stuff that he sells up there. I've already got you a plane ticket. Take off and go up there." So I flew up to Salt Lake City and went up there and went through and had some blocks and some flanges and a brim press and some different things that I needed there. But everything else was just kind of bits and pieces, and we just kind of, on the leather end, all that stuff's readily available because there's a bunch of folks that do leather work. So the leather tools, the sewing machines, and all that type of stuff, easy. All you got to do is have a checkbook to get it. On the hat side, they hadn't made this equipment since 40s, 50s, and that's the stuff that's hard to get a hold of. And it just kind of it came together.
Damon, how long after the fire until you thought, okay, I'm pretty much back to where I was? Are you there yet?
Oh, no. No, we had a bunch of really cool stuff then. I've got a bunch more really cool stuff now. I'm not ever really satisfied. I don't know if that's a good way to put it, but I think once you think you're there, you quit. I'm there, so I'm not going to keep striving. I don't ever want to get there. I want to continue to learn. I want to continue to get better. I want to continue to do more, bigger, better. I don't ever want to get content.
I've heard you say, I'm not interested in problems. I want issues and solutions.
Sure.
What's
Don't
that?
like problems.
Describe that.
Don't like problems. Problems to me are walls. They're barriers. They're problems. I like issues and solutions. And I tell all my hired hands when they come to me, my coworkers, my people, they come to me, hey, look here, this. I said, okay, what can we do to fix that? Well, maybe I can this. So problems, don't like them. Issues, we can deal with issues. Issues are easy. Now, what can we do? Let's brainstorm a little bit. Let's talk. Let's figure out what can we do to solve this.
That's a great way to look at life if you think about it, because it's easy to become like codependent on your problems or somebody else's problems.
Yeah.
But if you say, you know what, we're going to identify the issues, we're going to come up with solutions, we're going to collaborate together, we're going to move past it. Now we're past it, let's go on. That's kind of your vibe.
Don't dwell.
Yeah.
Don't dwell. Strive, man. Run. Let's go.
I like it a lot. All right, so here's another Damon Albus. You said one time, I know because I heard you say it. No, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good.
I say a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of it I regret
well,
later.
This is good.
So,
This is all good.
All right.
Well, you were talking about a guy that just had a very positive way to go about life, and you said, what a way to live. Say you're going to do something, and you do it. Just do what's right. Good way to go through life. What's a cowboy? Well, it's a mindset. Do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Man, if you could bottle that and just give it away, and maybe that's what your approach is. That's valuable perspective on living. That's a business motto, but it's not. It's living. It's lifestyle.
Yeah. I think where that came from was that someone called me a cowboy, or are you a cowboy, or something like that. I'm like, that's kind of like. I look at that title as a lot of people will say, the GOAT.
Greatest of all time.
Greatest of all times. That's fair game for others to say about you. You don't say that about yourself. I kind of look at that same philosophy and same mentality when people say, oh, he's a cowboy. To me, that's a title you give somebody else that you don't necessarily say, oh, I'm a cowboy. Just because of that same mindset, those same philosophies, should I say.
Yeah, and here I go interrupting you again, but you've said before, I've again heard you say it, that, somebody said, well, what are you, a hat maker? He says, well, that's what I do. It's not who I am. I'm a human being. I'm a son. I'm a husband, I'm a father, and now I'm a grandfather.
I'm a granddad.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Man, did we get that wrong? Should we have not had them grandbabies first?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Oh, my grandbabies are awesome.
Yeah, how many you got?
I got 3.
And I've seen pictures of it on. I don't know if on the internet, but I don't know where. But I've seen pictures of you holding them and all.
That middle one you might have seen at the post office. Yeah, that middle one, I tell you. No, hey, man, I got 3 great ones. Since I got 2 kids that hadn't even got started yet. So
there you go.
There you go.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know Dash got married fairly recently.
Absolutely,
and, but have
you seen his wife?
Oh, she's a beautiful young lady.
They're going to make beautiful babies.
Young lady.
Gosh, they're going to make beautiful babies.
Well, what a handsome guy he is. I told him, I said, you kind of remind me of a young Tony Romo, and he liked that. And then I thought more about it later. He's I don't know, he's got a little Tom Cruise going, He's a good-looking dude. dude.
A little bit too tall for Tom Cruise.
Yeah,
but okay.
he is.
That's all right, but he can take that vibe.
Tom Cruise is a short guy.
He's a little bitty guy.
Yeah. So you have one daughter, I think, at least one. Does she work in your shop, or you got a family that works in your shop?
I'm gonna tell you, every kid that I've had and my neighbors had, and a lot of them off the street. I've had lots of them in my shop working. Okay, no, every one of my kids have worked in the shop at one point in time. And they either go on to bigger and better in what they want to do in their life, or they just say, look, Dad, for the health of our relationship, I'm out of here.
I love it.
That was my middle one.
You all go ahead.
That was the middle one. She is like, Dad, I love you, but if we're going to continue to have this, like father-daughter relationship, she said, I'm out of here. You're hard to work for. And then my son, Dash, I even got asked the scouting supervisor. He called right after they drafted him, and he said, "Hey, well, you got this hat and leather and da da da." Said, "Does Dash help you out in there?" And I'm gonna say, "Hey, the guy is a incredible artist. He's great, does phenomenal work. But when he walks through that back door, his whole demeanor changes. It's like he's just ticked off to have to be there." And I said, I get it. It's not his deal. It's mine. It's not his. And I'm not going to force him. My dad sold farm equipment. I didn't want to play in the dirt. So I went and did my deal. Well, Dash can do it, will do it, has done it. As all three of them, been there, done that. And they all thrive and do great and wonderful things in there. But it's mine and their mom's deal, not theirs. Well, go find your way.
You tell a story about Donna basically raising the kids when they were little bitty in your shop,
without a doubt.
And she would be in the back office nursing the babies.
Without
You're out front working, and then she'd come back and keep working.
Well,
I mean, that's how it is with the family business.
And I'm going to tell you, my wife is so awesome. When we had the fire, I threw my sucker down. I'm like, there is a sign. This means we're done. I'm going to go sell cars or peddle newspapers, or I'm going to do something. And she's like, you big sissy. And she grabbed me by the collar and she said, no, you're not. We got all the effort and whatever it was to get this thing started. Mom came right in behind her and she said, get up off there. Quit crying like a little old whiny baby, and let's go. We got work to do.
That's how it is, isn't it? That great vision is accompanied by, often very strong women who know how to grab us by the collar, look us in the eye, and say, no, we're going.
I got two extremely strong women, and I have raised two. That might be a cool cage fight. Holy cow. I don't know who would win in that one. Because I've got 4 women in my life that, wow, I don't know which one's tougher.
Well, you'd have to rent the Coliseum out there, and Sunday.
You can sell tickets to that.
It's the Albus Marathon of Ringtail Tootin'.
Oh, boy.
I love it.
Or we could make them all a tag team deal.
Well, who would fight them?
Well, that's true. We'd have to pay them a lot.
So what's the future hold for you? You just going to continue to making hats and doing your leather work until you decide it's time to hang it all up, or who knows?
I guess the gray hair or something gets people to ask, oh, retire, or I'm getting to the age now, me and my wife where classmates are retiring, our friends are retiring and stuff. I tell you what, you couldn't stick me in the county jail to make me any less stir crazy. That would drive me bonkers if I don't have somewhere to get up and go do. That was bred into me from my parents. Both of them are absolute workaholics. They won't slow down. They won't stay. They've always got something going. And it's bred into me.
Well, you're younger than me, and you're going to keep on going. Mm-hmm. But I love that vision because I'm kind of geared the same way. I don't retire. What would you do? I just enjoy get up and going and putting around, even if it's not much. I enjoy doing something. And a lot of people would say, well, you don't do much, but I enjoy doing something. But you have a lot of customers. And I would imagine you'd have a lot of ticked off customers if you said, well, no more.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. None of my kids wanted to follow in my footsteps, but I got a son-in-law that does.
Oh, great news.
I've got a son-in-law that...
So there it is. There's a good plan.
And the way Dash has said it, he's going to make enough money, he's going to buy the business and then just let us run it. And I'm like, okay, well, that's kind of like what I'm doing now. Okay, fine. But no, my son-in-law and my oldest daughter have really got a true love for it. And my son-in-law's been there with me 8 years now, 9 years, something like that, maybe closer to 10. My gosh, time flies whenever I guess you're having fun. But no, he's great. He's over there, and I couldn't do it without him. And we can edit that part out. I don't want him to know.
No. Well, he would if he watches it because he's a son-in-law. He won't hear it because that's how we son-in-laws are.
Pretty much.
So yeah. Okay, so I want to ask you. You're on the south side of downtown. That's where your business is located.
Correct.
And it's seen a lot of development over the last 10 years or so.
There has been.
I would assume that's not a bad thing for your line of work.
The wonderful thing about it is I don't really rely on drive-by traffic, so I don't have to be on a main thoroughfare. I've always kind of joked, brag. I don't want to say a brag, but I could put my business out in the middle of a wheat field because everything that comes to me, people come to me. They just don't drive by and like, oh, there's a hat and leather shop. Let's pull in, I think there's no doubt that if I was on a main thoroughfare, we'd probably get a bunch more traffic, people coming in, tire kickers, what have you. But the way it is now is if they're coming to see me. And so I don't really have to be any specific place.
Right now, when we're recording this, I might see it years from now, I might not quite understand, but so I'll set the context this way. We're having a bit of a boom in Abilene. We're in a bit of a bubble because of this huge data center that's being built here, bringing so many people to town, announcement of future data centers. Have you seen any change in your business because of that?
A little bit. I'm getting some of the guys that are doing the construction stuff out there, but once again, that's kind of that all high tech stuff, and I want to stay. Yeah. Man, give me a Big Chief tablet and a number 2 pencil.
Love it. Yeah, I love that. Okay, I want to kind of start landing the interview this way. You had to have made some hats for some famous people. Is there any you can mention? Anybody that you've really enjoyed working with and making hats for? A
lot of those type folks, we have to ship them off, so I don't really get a whole lot of one-on-one. I've made a lot for some musicians. Okay, great people. Kind of my niche is in the rodeo world. Okay, a lot of those guys I've made for lots of world champions and lots of really notable people in that realm. And once again, I'm just kind of a stepping stone. I want to help that guy out a little bit so that the biggers, the Resistals, the Americans, and everyone else see, oh, he's got a hat deal. He's got 5D on the shirt, and we need to get that off because he's on TV, and we don't want anyone else's. And it's nothing against me personally. They just don't want another hat business getting that limelight instead of them. So they're writing those guys checks.
So what would I know you're going real soon up to Amarillo to a big show up there that's kind of like a culmination.
Rodeo finals.
Yeah, and that's a pretty big deal. Yeah. That's also got to be a good networking opportunity for you to do that kind of stuff.
Without a doubt.
So what do you say, and it's probably happened, but what do you say if somebody comes along and says, Damon, I love your business, love what you do, I want to buy you out. Do you say, well, not now?
Oh, everything's got a price. Everything is for sale, just not on sale.
Love it. I love it. That's fantastic.
Everything's got a price. I always said that about everything's got a price except my wife and my dog. And the wife is negotiable. I love you, sweetheart.
Yeah, we can always tell a good joke. That's a good
Yeah.
one. Well, Damon Albus, what a pleasure to have you on the podcast. What a lot of fun. A lot
I
of fun.
appreciate you letting me come in and give me an afternoon off.
And you do a little radio show, and I think you should turn that into a podcast. I think you got a lot of fun stuff to say and a lot of good perspectives.
You know, I've used it. I get really cool people that come in. I'm like, hey, do you got 30 minutes to spare? Let's run to the back of the shop right quick and let's record this right quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's neat. I've got some cool people that we've interviewed, and they're customers, but have done really cool things that I get to talk to them and
Love it.
And yeah, it's neat. It's kind of a pain to get the people in there, and then the editing and all that stuff is, But
Well,
it's neat.
there you have it, Abilene. Buy a hat, 5D. Who knows? You might be on the radio show.
There you go.
Yeah. Or you might be here for one of our podcasts on Abilene People, where we've had 3 Albuses in a row, the triple trifecta of Dash, Donna, and Damon.
Would it be necessary to say that, okay, we're kind of Albused out?
I don't know.
Right
there
now.
may be some more, because after that last comment,
You gotta give them a
Donna,
little
the
bit of a
wife,
break.
not Donna, the mama, may want to come on and talk.
Boy, I
She
tell you
may
what,
need a rebuttal time.
we'd have to drag her in kicking and screaming.
She wouldn't want to do it. That's
She
not
is-
her style.
Her style is in the back, taking care, make sure everything's running smooth. She don't like the front. She's not the most people person. Yeah, she stays in the back and keeps the wheels greased and keep rolling.
Love it.
That's
I
her
love
deal.
it. All right, so there you have it. Now we've got a good description of Donna, and we sure do appreciate Damon Albus coming on the show today here on Abilene People. And a big shout out to our ace producer, Travis Corrigan, always making everything run over there at the switcherboard. TCB. Taking care of business. That's his moniker, and that's what he does every day for us. So we'll see you next time here on Abilene People, where we always have conversations with Abilene's most interesting people right here on BigCountryHomepage.com. I'm your host, Danny Sims. Thanks for joining us today. Again, big shout out to Damon Albus. Thanks for coming on, sir.
517 Oak Street.
517 Oak Street. There you have it. You can see where it all happens. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.